Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I'm going to be showing you a new Onix card. And I'll tell you what, it's a little bit simple, and it's a little bit annoying at times. But I could see a lot of uses for this. I could honestly see this seeing a fair amount of play, so let's go have a gander. Now, this was revealed in the most recent issue of OHKO over in Japan, and we don't need a translation, ladies and gentlemen. We do not need a translation, because there's no words on it. I suppose maybe if you wanted to translate the flavor text, but I don't want to translate the flavor text, and I'm willing to bet that the name of this card is Onix. So, if we have a look at the basics here, it's a fighting Pokemon, which is great. It means you get Brooklet Hill to search it out as a basic, which is brilliant. And it means that you do... well, after rotation, you've pretty much got Diancie Prism Star. Pre-rotation, you've got Strong Energy, but this isn't actually going to be coming out until our November set, Sun and Moon 8, the one after Celestial Storm, which means that it's kind of irrelevant because Strong Energy will have rotated by the time this comes out. The weakness to Grass is pretty good, to be honest. You've got Golisopod GX and Tapu Bulu GX, both of which naturally hit for 120, and you've got 120 HP, so the weakness here is kind of irrelevant because you're going to be one-hit KO'd by the two most relevant Grass types anyway. Though we do have to sit and talk about this 120 HP for a moment, it is the worst thing about this card by a country mile, because it means that Zoroark will get a one-hit KO. There is a big difference between 120 and 130 HP. Some cards like Volcanion and Registeel have really been able to take advantage of the fact that they've got 130 HP. So something like a Silvally or a Zoroark is not going to be able to get an easy one-hit KO. 120 is much worse, and that's where we are with Onix. And this is essentially, as we're going to see in a moment, it's a Zoroark counter. So the fact that it's got little enough HP that it will be easily one-hit KO'd by a Zoroark with a full bench in the standard format is absolutely hideous, and may legitimately affect the playability of this card. Another 10 HP would make this card significantly better. I mean, I suppose you could go into the expanded format and use Focus Sash, or even Fighting Fury Bout, which will have rotated by the time this comes out, but then again, we've always got Field Blower to counter it. So what do we like about this card? 4 colorless energy, 120 damage. This is a great attack. Put very simply, 120 doubled is 240, so if you're hitting for weakness, you are getting a one-hit KO on a Zoroark, or a Silvally. Of course, they can get a one-hit KO back, more on that in a moment, but for now, you're getting a one-hit KO on these Pokemon. That is absolutely brilliant, because it's all for colorless energy. One of the most common video requests I get is, hey Ross, can you do a video about which Pokemon to play of each type if you want to just have a counter for colorless energy? And this could be it for a fighting Pokemon. It's all colorless, it hits the numbers on a Zoroark, and you can put this into any deck and have a built-in Zoroark counter. Now, 4 energy is very expensive, but I'm going to go through in a minute a whole bunch of options. Long story short, we've got ways that we can accelerate energy here. So, even though it is 4 energy, you're going to be playing it in decks where those 4 energy are, shall we say, much less of an issue. But if you're not hitting for weakness, you are, ironically, back in the whole 120 versus 130 debate. If you come across a Pokemon with 120 HP, let's say the promo Tapu Fini that I talked about the other day, then you're going to be able to get a one-hit KO. But if you're against a Pokemon with 130 HP, like Volcanion, you are going to struggle and not be able to do it. Now again, you could use Diancie Prism Star here, and that puts you up to 140, and that's actually quite nice. Because now you're getting pretty much all of the basics. I mean, you have got Regigigas, who's got a huge HP, but it's also weak, so you're fine. But you're not getting that many stage 2s. Now stuff like Greninja, which again will have rotated by then, has 130 HP, but most of your stage 2s nowadays, like your Dragonite and your Empoleon, are up around 160, meaning that you're not going to be getting one-hit KOs on stage 2s. So you can get your basics and you can get most stage 1s, but you ain't getting stage 2s here. Then again, most of the time we've got better options. Let's not forget this is for 4 energy. So if you chuck 4 energy on here to take out a promo Tapu Fini, you got 120 HP. You've probably put too many resources in, you're going to get KO'd straight away, and then you're going to be behind for the rest of the game. What you really want here is to use this as a big one-shot, hey look mummy, I took 2 prizes in 1 turn kind of Pokemon. And we've got a whole bunch of options here. Now, one of the less sophisticated options we could use is just going for 2 double colorless energy. It's all colorless energy, this would totally work. Maybe you even take advantage of a card like Multi-Switch here to switch 1 double colorless over while attaching a 2nd double colorless and getting both of them on in 1 turn. Just to be perfectly clear, I do not think this is a good idea. I think putting 2 double colorless energy on here is a waste of resources and is way too much of an investment. Similarly, if you're in the expanded format, or somehow we get it back, which I don't think we will, you've got Max Elixir. But again, Max Elixir is too much of an investment. If you use Max Elixir to get an energy on here, and then use Max Elixir to get a 2nd energy on here, and then use a double colorless, that's 2 Max Elixir and your energy attachment for the turn, which is a special. That is pretty much the same you would be using for something like a Buzzwole GX to use Knuckle Impact. No, ladies and gentlemen, those are not good ideas. But we got some ideas that are good. Let's say you're playing a Magnezone deck. All of a sudden here, you can use Magnezone's Magnetic Circuit to drop 4 energy down and get a nice one-hit KO on a Zoroark using this particular Onix. Now, we're in a weird situation here, because if you're playing a metal deck, you've got Duskmane Necrozma. You whack 4 energy on there, you get to do 220, you'll get a one-hit KO on Zoroark. But then you're discarding the free energy. And when you discard those free energy, you've got to get the energy back, and maybe your opponent's able to ability lock you, or maybe they KO your Magnezone, or maybe they bump your Mount Coronet off the field and you can't get free energy, or whatever. And this is where we end up in a position where 120 is so much worse than 130. Because if you had 130 HP, in a Magnezone deck you put 4 energy on this, KO a Zoroark, and your opponent cannot KO you back using a Zoroark. So you might be able to get 2 Zoroark and that completely swings the game. Whereas with a Duskmane Necrozma, you've got to discard the free energy, then get them back, and it's way more awkward. But having only 120 HP means you take that KO on a Zoroark, and then the next one just KOs you back. And then you've got to get another Onix with 4 energy on, and that's just way too much of a problem. The HP here is way too much of a problem. Maybe you use the other Magnezone, the electric type, because bearing in mind you're going to be using this with all kinds of lightning Pokemon, I don't know, maybe a Zeraora. But everything you're likely to be playing this with is weak to fighting. So having a fighting type counter like an Onix is great. It'll be amazing in the mirror match. But it still gets KO'd way too easily because it's got 120 HP. How about Malamar? Malamar is part of probably the best deck at the moment, at least one of them along with Buzzwole, and it's played with Necrozma and Ultra Necrozma, and it accelerates Basic Psychic from your discard to your bench. So if you're playing a Malamar deck, this will fit in really easily and give you a counter to something like Zoroark or something like Silvally. And it's not that big a deal because you should be accelerating energy every turn anyway, so you can get the energy on here. I do like Onix as a counter, and it fits beautifully indexed like Malamar and Magnezone that can accelerate a whole bunch of energy. It's way too awkward with stuff like double colorless, but if you're accelerating energy naturally, it fits in quite nicely. And it is a fighting type that hits the relevant numbers, that can be used for completely colorless energy. It is a useful card that should see a bunch of play, but I'm dismayed by how low the HP is, especially when the best thing it KOs at the moment is Zoroark. But let's be clear, it's completely colorless energy, it hits the numbers, it's a great tech in any deck where you can accelerate energy, and you want to take down fighting. So I'm giving it 3 Wassies because you want a copy or 2 in your binder because you might actually play this one day. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you. Do you think this Onix could be good? Do you think the 120 HP is just too low? Would you put it in a Malamar deck if Zoroark kept getting bigger and bigger? Go nuts! Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do just that. And do check out my Dragon Ball Super / video game channel, Wassy Plays, for some more Wassy action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.